Hey everyone, and welcome to the Next Planet Zoo video. Today we are going a little bit different. Today we are building yet another diorama, but this is a crossover with another movie franchise. So it's not a movie habitat, but it is definitely a diorama with a movie style to it. And this is going back to the OG Jurassic Park movie. Now, obviously, we are moving close to the release of Jurassic World Evolution 2 as a game. We are going a little bit closer to Jurassic World 3 as a movie, and which then potentially finally will round off the Jurassic Park franchise. So I thought, you know what, let's go back to the classic. And I don't know how many times people asked me to do a Jurassic Park movie habitat. Now, I always kind of try to avoid it, to be honest, because I thought, you know, with the game Jurassic World Evolution and with Prehistoric Kingdom now coming around the corner as well, it just never really felt fitting to me, because like all the other movie habitats I did are somewhat like either very doable in Planet Zoo because they feature actually the animals that are in the game, or that are so much completely off topic that there is not another game that you could potentially do it in. And whenever I thought about a Jurassic World or Jurassic Park inspired habitat in Planet Zoo, I was like, man, I actually want to do this in Jurassic World Evolution, you know? But then again, Jurassic World Evolution doesn't really offer me the tools to do so, so I kind of wanted to avoid it anyways, just because I never found the sweet spot, you know? I didn't want to do it in this game because we don't have dinosaurs. I don't want to use mods for that, just simply put, because I don't think they, you know, do justice to what I want to do. And yeah, so I ended up now with this one over here, and I am freaking proud of this thing. It was potentially one of my most straightforward builds ever, simply because I had this idea in mind, I think since the second, I think it was the second diorama I did, and then I was like, how would that be if I do this for like Jurassic World and or Jurassic Park? And I gotta say that this one in particular over here is really my best when it comes to the dimensions and force perspective and tricking you with the perspective. I really hope that you guys didn't catch that from the thumbnail already, but there is something in this build that might be confusing at first, and this is how big the animals seemed in the screenshot and just in general. Now, the reason why that is pretty simple. I just kind of shrink down everything else to a level that it all looked a little bit bigger in general, you know? So the idea was to take that car over here, like this vehicle, this Jeep, as a reference, and shrink everything down by 50%, so that everything else looked 50% bigger, you know? Just kind of as if you would shrink the overall game things and, you know, make everything else appear bigger even though it isn't. I talked about this technique already in the other habitats dioramas I did, just to make sure that you have, you know, an idea how you do these dioramas and playing a little bit with like perspective and so on. And this is finally, I think, the best example of how that works. So I really would love to hear your opinion on that in comments down below. So let me know what you think about this technique of shrinking down things to make other things appear bigger. And as a matter of fact, this was the only chance that gave me the freedom to do something with animals in here that, you know, kind of lived at these times as well. Like basically not dinosaurs, but reptiles that already lived during these times, but who were or that were just a ton bigger, like quite a bit bigger than they are nowadays. So I ended up doing the Komodo dragon, the Galapagos giant tortoise, and the Nile monitor, even though I'm not really sure about the monitor if it did live back then, but you know, at least, you know, these are reptiles that potentially could have lived there. You could have also put down like maybe like a gharial or something, but I just figured that would be better to do it that way. So half of this speed build is actually all about making the Jeep in a way that it kind of has this appeal to it that it needs to have. So it is not the most detailed build I ever did, and especially when you know what I did in Planet Coaster and also in other games, it's not the level of detail that it can be. However, I just want to stress the fact that it doesn't need to be. So the only reason why I made this is to give a certain sense of perspective and of sizes. It is not meant to be like super crazy detailed, to have some close shots that look fantastic or whatnot. This is solely in here to trick your mind that things are bigger than they actually are. So the reason why I built this car is really just to give me an idea of how big also Jurassic Park gate has to be later on. And also you can see the helipad is also somewhat in the right size, even though it, you know, it would need to be like a tiny bit bigger, but you can really, looking at these pieces I'm using over here, like the lamp for example, you get a feeling of how small we are actually at this point. Even in this frame now, the game tricks you. Here you can see this really nicely with the fences. You can see how massive the fences appear because I'm already so close. Look at the bicycle here. This is just really small, okay? So I'm building on a small scale already. So I'm trying my best here to give a good sense of how that car should look, and I'm trying different things and pieces, which again shows us that there are not enough small pieces in this game yet. There are some better pieces, you know, they improved dramatically over Planet Coaster, which is already a great thing, but it's still not just quite there. But I think it's just really turned out great. Anyhow, I'm gonna take these couple of minutes focusing on the build here to get back to you guys. So first of all, a big thanks to every single one of you supporting the channel so massively recently, and thank you for those of you who already joined with this smallest perk in the members. I saw quite a few members joining, which is really amazing. So if you guys want to join as well, there is now the option to become a member of this channel for only 99 cents. Again, it is not, and I mean this by as much as I can, and I want to stress this, it is not mandatory at all. You know, only if you can and if you like the content and blah blah blah, you are free to join via membership, which will give you access to some membership posts. And as I said in my Gilded, if we reach an overall number of 30 members, then I'm gonna create like a dedicated Gilded group, and I'm gonna put some early screenshots in there and stuff like that, so like little perks, okay? However, I just want to stress that again, because I think you can't say that enough. YouTube is a weird place, okay? So if you watch YouTubers a lot like I do, recently I got a lot back into YouTube for space. You know, the space community is something that really caught my attention lately. And it just amazes me that people with like 10,000 or like 15,000 subs already go that route of crazy membership perks and sponsors and blah blah blah. You know, I kind of get it. However, it's not my kind of sense of how to run this channel. As long as this is a hobby, and as long as this is just the one thing that I like to do in my free time, I just don't want to abuse any one of you or whatever for the money solely, you know. It's not like that YouTube pays my bills. It's not like that YouTube is, you know, required to run my life the way it is. However, as I stated in Gilded, it gives me freedom. The more money I can make out of this channel and put back into the channel by, you know, getting stuff done for me, for example, like lately doing emotes and stuff. I love doing it myself. I just simply don't have the time. So what I did lately is I created a master, like an emote master, and now I have like one graphic designer that I used to work with quite a few times, and whenever I have some demands, I'm just gonna chat to her like, hey, would you do this? And she's gonna you know, give me like an estimate how much that would cost, and I'm gonna ask her to do that, and a couple of days later I have like a bunch of new emotes for you guys, which I couldn't do myself because I simply don't have the time. I'd rather put the time into creating and playing the game because that's just more fun. Even though I like doing emotes myself as well, it's like, you know, 1 or 2 steps behind playing myself. So money gives me freedom, that's all I want to say, and if you can afford that, it's fine, but you don't need to. The idea of the channel is that everything remains free and, you know, open to you. And I just take that time to talk so long about this because I think you can't stress that enough. I think you can't talk enough about this fact because whenever people start, at least I have this feeling, and you can let me know in the comments down below how you feel about that, but I have the feeling as soon as creators like go too much into this kind of membership and merchandise and stuff like that, it always gives the feeling that they just want to make money out of you. you know, even though I know that most of the creators have an insane quality, like the quality and stuff they do is amazing, and so I'm very much open to giving them, you know, €1 or €2 a month. That's totally fine. It's just like as soon as I get the feeling that the creator is not doing what the creator should do, and that's creating, then I get the feeling that it's, you know, it's kind of a little bit of a weird thing when the creator is already so small and then just starts doing all these things. So all I want to say is my focus will remain making content for you guys. Content you can enjoy, content which you potentially want to criticize because there's something you don't want to see, then let me know. I'm very open to start talking to you guys in the comments down below. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know again that this option is open, and as always I'm going to position that in the middle of my video because I know that those people who listen to all of that, you guys are my beloved core members. I love every single one of you watching 1 minute, 10 minutes, or like the full video, but you know, it's always like a special connection to those who always listen to the commentaries, and you get the idea because the way people comment and the way people have inside jokes and stuff shows how much they listen to the videos. And so I think it's only fair to give a reward to them and be very open and honest with those people who really are a vital part of this channel, because otherwise this channel wouldn't be a thing, you know. It's a lot more fun to have a community that is as great as you are. So thank you guys so much for it. It really means a lot to me, and I really hope that we can continue growing this whole thing even more and become even more of a nice community for everyone who wants to join. So that's my target, and keep creating good stuff for you guys. And you know, I think I really found the niche I wanted to go in, and that is inspire people to get creative in whatever creative game that allows you to be creative. And I think this is the one thing I can offer to you guys. And I really hope that you guys enjoy that. Anyways, I would love to know, to end this little off-topic talk before we go into this crazy build over here. I love the sign, by the way. It turned out really great. I didn't expect that. And again, you will see later on in the real-time part how small that actually is. But I would love to know, what is the one thing that you like my channel for? Like, what is the one thing that if someone asks you, why do you watch Rudy Ran Camel, what would you answer? What's the one thing you would answer why you watch my content? I would really love to understand what is the one thing. You have to also, you know, keep to one single thing why you watch the content I create. That would be very interesting to know. Anyhow, enough of that talk. Let's quickly talk a couple of minutes about this build before we jump over in the real-time part. You can see that I spend a lot of time on the gate and the car, which again is more than half of the episode I spent doing this. And it is a weird thing. It is very weird, because that is really how you sell the idea. And I love dioramas because they feel like a little bit like a pitch, you know, like a pitch in the agency, when you just have a limited amount of time and a limited frame in which you can present something, and this is the one thing that has to carry your overall idea of what you want to create. Okay, so this diorama over here is basically the pitch for what would it be if I do like an entire Jurassic World or Jurassic Park rebuild in this game. So I love the fact that this works this way, because it just helps you to sell an idea. And that's also why you need to focus so much on little details that take a lot of time, but they are really important, because they are the essence of what you want to showcase in a later stage with this build. Also, I just found this bush over here. I forgot what that was, but I'm going to show it in the real-time part. This thing is insane. You can see that this looks really good, but from a distance, the low poly version turns into something that looks almost like the roof of like the rainforest. How do you even say that? Like, how's that called when the trees, like, is it also the crown? In Germany you say the crown of trees, but I think that doesn't make any sense in English. Whatever, it's like the top layer of trees, which is like all the foliage and all the leaves and stuff. And from a distance, this tree really looked like it, even though it was like a little bush. You can really tell that this looks a lot bigger than it really is then. Also, I used these little palms thingies over here to make like a bigger palms, which obviously they aren't, but it just seems like. And again, I really think that the idea is sold very nicely through that, and I'm just going to hide a few things here and there and just doing some final bits and pieces here and there, just making sure that everything comes together nicely and everything is focused on selling the Jurassic Park diorama idea. And I guess it just worked out very well, and I'm really, I just love the fact, and I really would love to explore even more movies, maybe in the diorama style that I wouldn't potentially do as a movie habitat, because they might be for several reasons not working. So if that's a thing you guys are interested in, again, always drop it down below in the comments. If you have an idea what kind of diorama I could create, let me know in the comments down below. That would be amazing. But now it's time to jump over in the real-time part and let's have a look how that finally turned out. Da 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 da. Okay, I should stop that, but here we are, guys. This is the diorama in its final beauty, and I should actually turn the sun a little bit so it's a tiny bit better. Yeah, there you go. This is the final one, and oh boy, I am so freaking happy. Look at how this works out also with the tortoises and everything else in here. I mean, just look at it. Actually, from this perspective, if we are looking at this right now, you can't tell which size that is. But let me just do one thing to show you how freaking funny that is. So I'm gonna put like the queue down. This is already a 3-meter thing, you know. And let me just grab a staff member or whoever is available. Let's put a security guard down. I can't put him on the queue. How unfortunate is that? Then let's put down a normal piece of path here. If that's gonna work, yeah. So it's so funny because it's just really like the size is insane. Look at this. Look at how big this person seems. It's like almost like a giant when you see that compared to the gate. It is so funny. It's like 50% off, and I mean you can even put like the Jeep next to him. Look at it's like a tiny little Jeep for kids, you know. That could be even, I think I'm gonna release this as like a kid's Jeep for your zoo if you want that. Please let me know in the comments below if you want this thing. I'm gonna release this for you if you want. Also, I never saw the Komodo chilling like that in the water. Are they also capable of diving like in real world? And what is going on with you? I remember you can't go in the water, can you? Oh, you can. For whatever weird reason. What is going on? Is that how you lived in these times? Like things like, okay, whatever. So yeah, I am really happy about this, guys. See you later. This is how I really imagined this to turn out. I mean, just look at this thing on here and then, oh my God, look at them swimming in the back there. This is exactly the one thing. Oh my God, okay, this is maybe a little bit too much fake. You know, I put these things down with a certain thing in mind. You know, I could actually zoom in a little so you guys can see that a little bit better. Look at this. So this is actually the view I wanted to create as well. Like this is really like having the Jurassic Park here in the front, and then you can see the big lizard there on the soil, and this big boy in the water as well. That like really works out exactly the way I wanted it to work out. So this is really giving you a sense of perspective, and this is really what I wanted to do. I'm just gonna keep game running here. So oh boy, this is just so good because it turned out exactly the way I wanted it. So this is like the helipad, you know. You imagine the heli coming in, flying in here, landing there, then you jump on the Jeeps and stuff. I technically could have put some signs and stuff down here as well, but you know, that doesn't help to sell the idea. So I'm just focusing on whatever. And also this gate obviously is not on the right position. Like they would actually go, and we need to have the visitor center first. I really had the idea to build the visitor center first and like cut this in half as well. But I was like, nah, this just kind of blocks the view over here. And the only thing is, like, you know, if I would just try to criticize myself here a little bit, I think it should have been like a tiny bit bigger, like 20% bigger, so I could have made this field over here a tiny bit more open, so you get the idea of that big cliff and then going over to the other side. But going that small, it really was already hard enough to get the different angles in, and I decided to go with some simple shapes over here to make sure that it still sells the idea. But again, look at this bush. This is the Bramble Bush 02. I mean, look at how it looks from when we zoom out. It just kind of seems as if this is like a very overgrown. It almost seems like, wait, do we have, yeah, like this. Like it almost seems like this, you know. And same over here. Like I can show you real quick. This is also something that just works pretty well. Oh god, this is like, we need to fly a little bit closer, then you can see the same. So this is the same trick as you use in game design all of the times. If you zoom in, you can see they just use these things here, which is just like a fake bush. It's not really existing to save police and stuff. But if you go back, you know, We're all the way flying over here. Did I trick the game? Yeah, I did trick the game. So yeah, you can see this is, from the distance, it looks like a very overgrown rainforest, but when you go closer, it's just like one bush. And same applies over here. It's the same technique. It's the same little trick I used. So nothing crazy going on here, nothing wizardry, but it's just like playing with perspective, and I like how that turned out. I really hope you guys like that as well. I'm gonna put this thing in the workshop as well as soon as I can. So make sure to look into my workshop every now and then, because I think that really sells the idea, even though I'm just going to try to put that in the description right now for you. So please check the description. Maybe I even got it done, and then you can download this. But oh boy, I am so happy. This is really something I wanted to do after, as I said, the second diorama, and I think it really turned out super well. And yeah, I'm just gonna leave you with this now. I'll leave you with a couple of seconds here of this beautiful diorama, just a little bit like so. And then I really hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I did with the other ones. Please let the YouTube algorithm know by hitting the like button, put a comment down below, and if you are not subscribed yet, I would be more than happy to welcome you in the crew. That would be amazing and helps me out the most. Yeah, well, is there anything else I can say? No, just have a wonderful rest of your weekend, if it's still weekend for you, or have a beautiful week ahead. I talk to you in the next one. Stay safe, everyone, and goodbye.